There we go. Hey, good afternoon, everyone. This is Charlie Pankey from Sierra Rec Now magazine and Sierra Rec Now podcast. We thank you very much for being here again today. We hope the Sierra is within your sight or in your future. I personally am heading off to Yosemite tomorrow for one of my dream backpacking trips. Cannot wait. Of course, it is September, and we are already into all the events that are going on in Sierra. In the Reno Tahoe area this week, we got the Reno balloon races. We got the camel and ostrich races in Virginia City. In our hometown, we have the Douglas County Rodeo and all kinds of country music. Should be a great weekend. And of course, we can't do any of this without our sponsors. So we want to take a moment to thank the Carson Valley for being our sponsor. Why don't you listen to what they have to say about their wide open spaces? I love that video. It smells like fall already around here. The leaves are starting to change, and we got the candy dance coming up and all kinds of fall hiking. If you don't have a place to go, the Carson Valley is a great place for the fall. We do thank them for their support and stuff. Guys, we have a great show for you today, and there's a little bit of laughter in the background going because we've already recorded half the show, but forgot the record button. So I was that excited about today. But Jarrod is joining us today. I'm going to introduce Jarrod. Jarrod, I forgot to ask what your last name is.
Ellerbroek.
Ellerbroek. Okay. Jarrod is a gentleman I met on Instagram just a couple days ago. He's got a brand new launch of a product that I just thought was really relevant to our community, outdoor community. It's not necessarily based here in Sierra, but it's definitely going to have a Sierra community, effect to us long term. But I have a question for you. You ever just wanted to go do something and didn't have a buddy to go with, right? Wanted to go kayaking in Lake Tahoe. Maybe you wanted to go hiking up in, the desolation wilderness. You just need somebody to go with you, and there just isn't anybody around. Or maybe it's ski season and you're ready for skiing, and you want somebody to go out in the mountains with you today. Well, Jarrod had this idea of this app we're going to talk about today. It's called the OutdoorPal. So, Jarrod, welcome. Well, you're from Washington, correct?
Yes. Thank you, Charlie, for having me on the show, man. I'm excited.
Absolutely. So,
yep.
Jarrod and I don't know each other, so this is completely just a casual conversation today. Jarrod, he told me it was his first podcast, so we're going to treat him nice today. But Jarrod, you're in Washington. Again, all I know is that you started an app called OutdoorPal, and if I give a synopsis to my audience, it's a place where you can go and share your passions. You can talk about hiking or backpacking or skiing in there, but it's also a place for you to meet and build trips. Like you want to invite somebody to or join somebody's trip that's being built. Is that kind of a broad-based description?
Yeah, it is. Yes.
Okay. Explain it in your words. Give us kind of what your synopsis of what the app is about.
Yeah, so the whole app is built around just meeting people outdoors and creating trips like you were just saying. So the whole point is, right, if you want to go, let's say you're in Washington State for the weekend, right, and you want to go hiking, you can just type in Washington State and then say you're into hiking and just click in hiking and filter it out, and you can find people that are in the state that want to go hiking right near you. So that's one of the features we have. And then we have a unique social platform added to it where you can post and follow what your friends are doing, that you meet along your adventures and all that. And then you can, like you're talking about the trips where people can create trips and people could join on them too. So it's a whole platform to where it just connects people that want to go out on an adventure. Really, that's the whole basis of it.
Very cool. You told me before the show started that you're a skier. You love skiing. So your home ski resort, your closest ski resort for you is?
Crystal Mountain.
Crystal Mountain. Okay, very good. So, all right, we're in the Lake Tahoe area. We got to have you come down and try out some of Lake Tahoe. You ever skied anywhere in the Sierra yet?
I have not, no.
Okay. Been down here playing at all?
Yeah, I've been down the Mount Whitney area and gone climbing over there and hiking and all that. Yeah.
Very good. Out in the John Muir Wilderness then.
Yep.
Very good. Did you climb all the way top of Mount Whitney?
No.
Me neither. That's okay.
I chickened out.
It's a big trip, man.
Yeah.
It's a big trip. Where do you remember where we went backpacking or hiking down there?
Yeah, we were doing the Mountaineers route, and the plan was to hike up or actually climb up the east face, and ended up not feeling too well when we got to around the base camp area. I forgot what it was called, but yeah, it was not a good experience.
That's a big route. That would be a dream route for a lot of people. So great. Well, let's talk about the app here a little bit. You still live in Washington. Where did the app come from? What's its origin story? Where's the goals going at with it?
So pretty much, how I got the app idea, growing up as an avid hiker and skier and climber, going to the mountains all the time when I was a kid and all that. Around the time when, it was you get out of high school, time to get a job and all that, parents were like college or go to work for the local shipyard. And I chose the local shipyard. And, throughout the years of working there on the side, I've been trying different business ideas and all of them failed because I was never passionate about it. And then over on a work trip eventually that I got sent on, I was sitting in my hotel room one day after work, and that's where the idea of OutdoorPal began because I was looking through Facebook and I realized that all these Facebook groups in Washington, there's people looking for, hey, I need to go hiking this weekend. I need someone to go with. Or, hey, look at this cool, mountain I just climbed. It'd be cool to have people to, come with me, stuff like that. So that's where the idea started, is when I started writing down ideas for that idea. So that's where it all originated from.
So but it's not just Washington, right? So your goal is to spread this across the nation and have pockets all over the
Yes.
place. Is that kind of the idea?
Yes, that is the idea. I'm still trying to figure out personally, like, what's the best marketing idea. I'm just all new to me, so I'm just trying to figure out, is it better to go broad in the U.S. or is it better to go by state in the U.S.? And so far, I'm liking the broad idea and just getting the whole U.S. to use it. So that's my goal right now, is just kind of getting people from all the states to start using it and just get it out there.
Yeah, one of the reasons we started Sierra Magazine, there was no one covering the entire Sierra, right? Where there's all these little pockets that people had. They were,
Yeah.
Bishop did a great job, and Mammoth, everybody has a little pocket. But as an avid traveler who likes to go on big trips, I have no problem driving 3 hours to hike all day, drive back 3 hours, right? I'm one of those guys. So I wanted to know what else was available in the Sierra. So one of our tags is discover more Sierra, discover more areas. Well, when you start doing that, you have to discover more people sometimes, right? And figure out who's down there, who knows who to talk to, who can I go with? Am I going to be doing a solo or do I take a buddy, right? So it really, when I saw it, I go, that's really kind of a great concept, right? To be our own little social network, but with the goal of connection, not the goal of just sharing photos, but actually trying to connect and share those adventures out, right? So you expressed just before our show that you're a skier. So
Yes.
do you like skiing with strangers and people you meet? Is this something you've practiced yourself, or is this something new to you as well?
Honestly, I'm a pretty go with the flow type of guy. And
Okay.
I always down to meet new people. So like usually when I go up, I ski by myself and then I'll meet someone just skiing up on the mountain usually. And I'll be like, hey, you want to ski? Because I hate skiing alone. So I'm just like, hey, you want to ski a couple runs with me? And they're like, yeah, sure. So yeah, that's where another part of the idea came in. It's like, yeah, it'd be great to go skiing with someone, have someone to go skiing with, because it's not fun skiing alone, in my opinion. But
yeah, I just met these guys just a few months ago. Actually, I met them last year. I met a group of guys from Los Angeles, and they were up here skiing. And through some connections stuff, I actually went and met these guys. But I have a group of guys, and I don't know how many are in the group, but I meet about 4 or 5 every time I meet them. They're from Los Angeles. They don't live anywhere near each other. They don't have any work history together. They literally have met on a bus one day and started talking stories about hiking the Eastern Sierra and started teaming up. And now every year they make a trip into the Eastern Sierra to go backpacking together. And so it was interesting. This July, they invited me down to come experience it with them. So we went to the Chocolate Lake Loop out of Bishop Pass. And it was great. I got to meet 4 new guys. Again, completely different sides of LA. They're just kind of, connecting up. They drove up together. They had a great weekend. I joined along, and I just found that fascinating that this is an industry that is born on connectivity and people who just have passion, right?
yeah.
Climbers in Yosemite. I think about the climbers in Yosemite all the time. They have their own campground that they've designed that basically it's been there longer than Yosemite. It seems like that's their community where they just meet up and do things together. I think that's pretty cool concept. Is there any other you ski in the winter? How about you hiker in the summertime?
Yeah, when I can get out. Right now I've been really busy, but usually when I can get out, I try to go hiking as much as I can. I do a lot of scrambling too. I don't really do like hardcore rock climbing, so it's more just like, class, they call it class 4, class 3 type stuff, just out in the Cascades, stuff like
Right.
that.
Gotcha. So on this app, you're talking about you're really in a beta stage right now, right? You're looking for first time users to get in and get their hands dirty and post some stuff and make this thing work, right? So like I just joined it the other day and I just posted my first post actually today on it because it's National Wilderness Celebration, 60th birthday of the wilderness today. So I put a post on there. There's some things on there for trips. Tell me how trips work. What are trips for? If somebody was
Yeah.
to join today, wait, what would a trip thing be?
So the whole trip, and the whole trip function on the app pretty much like includes, creating a trip for people. Let's say that goes back on like, hiking and all that. So let's say someone wants to go hiking, right? They can
Mhm.
organize a trip for, let's say, I want to go hiking on Mount Rainier Skyline Loop Trail this weekend, right? So he can create that trip, or anyone can create that trip, and then it will show Skyline Loop Trail to everyone for Mount Rainier. So if you typed in Mount Rainier, it would show that trip, and then people can see the details, who's running the trip. They can click on their profile, see who the person is,
Mhm.
and then they can join in on that trip. And once they join in on that trip, you are put into a group messenger chat. And the group messenger chat is where you can get all your trip details, your trip information, meet everyone on the trip, just kind of discuss about, what you're about to do. And we're still adding a bunch of features to that section. It's still kind of like early on, but there'll be like a whole trip manager thing where guides and people can like see who's all in it. They can, see like who's going, send locations and all that. We do have some of that right now, but it's just not like, it's not on a full page up by itself. It's in like a settings menu right now. So we're
Right.
kind of still developing on that.
I still love the idea of the messenger part though, because that was one of the things when I was playing with it, I go,
Mhm.
well, if I put a trip out here and I say, started putting a bunch of details in there in like a Facebook spread or something like that,
Mhm.
that gets really kind of scary for people sharing too much information, right? You don't know who's
Yeah.
going to show up and stuff, right? You want to have
Mhm.
some kind of vetting process that's private a little bit on that. So the messenger part kind of
Yes.
helps you do that, correct?
And we are planning on adding a video chat too. So that
Oh,
will be
okay.
a part so people can see each other's faces before they go on a trip.
That would be
That'd be kind of a trust thing, just for people to feel safer on the, on the platform, and they can see who they're meeting before they meet them. You
Yeah,
know?
absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
nothing like just meeting somebody stranger or,
Yeah.
I've actually had that happen to me on Instagram, before where we've had followers that are on the exact same hike the same day. We literally take pictures and then what you'll recognize each other by the outfits going, "Oh, I saw you on the trail." Cause you passed each other and didn't recognize each other beforehand. Uh, so it's a really kind of a small world that happens in those passion points like that. So
Yeah.
that's really cool. So what are the plans next? And you guys have a beta program. There's not a lot of people on the platform yet, but it's open on the Apple and Google Play Store that people can
Yeah.
download right now.
Yep.
So what's the ask? You want people to what do you since there's not a lot
The,
going on right now? What do you need people to do
the
at this
biggest
moment?
the biggest thing that I would love to see is just people start creating trips, people start going on trips, people start posting about their trips, people just start connecting with each other. Like once I can get people to use the app what it's meant to be used for, and people can see that,
Mhm.
then that's when it becomes special. That's when it becomes something that people are like, oh wow, I can like relate to this app. I can use this app, and that's when I think it really blossoms.
Can you share the trips and stuff outside of your app into other networks? Can you reuse the content by pushing it to your Facebook group or your Instagram
Yes,
group?
yes you
Okay,
yes you can. Yeah,
okay. So you really can make a home base for just outside community, and if they want to share it elsewhere, they can do that as well. So
Mhm.
it's kind of interesting. I go to a local church here. We're part of a men's ministry, and one of our biggest challenges in the outdoor ministry is just communication. It's
Mhm.
finding a way to say, "Hey, I'm going hiking this weekend. Who wants to join me?" without having to dial 50 phone numbers of people on a list, right?
Yep.
And because not everybody likes Facebook or not, different channels. So
Mhm.
this is a different channel where you can say, "Hey, if you're really into fishing, for example, the
Yep.
fishing community is huge, right?" Then you can say, "Hey, I'm going fishing on the Walker River this weekend. Who wants to join me?" And can you set a limit on your trip size? Like, hey,
Yeah.
it's only open for the next 5 people because I'm not taking
Mhm.
22.
You can set private trips too, and just invite certain people too. So if let's
Oh,
say
that's
if you want,
nice.
yeah. So if you just want to invite your friends that you already met, you can just send them out invitations and
So it
go on a
becomes
trip.
kind of more of an organized board for your outdoor plans.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
That's really cool. So it gives you. So if I signed up today, or if a user went and signed up today, they're not going to see a bunch of people to make friends with, maybe right off the bat. But if they
Mhm.
invite their friends and they start their own community, they can start having that communication channel for their experiences, right? So
Yep.
your profile that you build for yourself on the app, is it seen by everybody, or is there controls on who sees the profile? How does that work?
So for now, early access, we're doing everyone can see who everyone is, but right now we're kind of figuring that out too. Like, do we want to make it to where we're probably gonna add an option on there where you can make it private? But right now, I believe like transparency, that's what we want to build is transparency on our
Yep.
app. So I feel like having that transparency will build trust between people. So obviously, if someone doesn't have anything posted on their, their page and has a sketchy profile
Yeah.
picture, obviously someone's probably not going to meet up with that person, right?
Yep.
Like,
Exactly. Yeah.
it kind of also like helps for us safety wise too, and for the clients
Yep.
that it helps them, know who they're going with too. So that's the biggest thing too. Is just
Yeah,
like,
you think about the beginning of all these
yeah,
social apps, right? It was only what 15 years ago that Facebook even existed, right? But
mhm,
these social apps they launch, they have to have a group, an original group of people who buy in, and say, "Hey, I'm going to be part of that community," right?
yeah,
And if they buy into that part of the community, they buy into the apps, and then that's how that network's going to grow. But you do need to say, "Hey, I'm going to join, and I'm going to go for it. I'm going to fill the profile out, add some photos, and I'm going to try to be part of this unique thing." I find that really cool. Most of my listeners know this. I have a hiking buddy. His name's Tom. We met on a random trip that I put on for a church. I was trying to do an outdoor thing for the church, and no one showed up. And so I hiked 2 miles into this lake, and I'm back in this lake filming a video for my content. And all of a sudden I hear Charlie. I look over there, and here's Tom. He left before me, thinking I was late for the meeting, and we've been hiking ever since. And he's one of those guys that he would occasionally go out by himself. I always went out by myself. I had no problem with it. But he was always looking for somebody to go with. And so I just started inviting him to our trips. And what's really cool is Tom always says yes. And I was always looking for somebody who always just kind of said, I'm in.
mhm,
And over the years, I've had so many people say, "Hey, if you invited me," like going, you know how hard it is to remember to invite you. So it'd be really cool to be able to post it someplace saying, "This Saturday, I'm going Desolation Wilderness, going back hiking. Who wants to join me?" Right?
yes. And we are adding a posting feature that will be like that, where people can just join on the post too. So we're adding, like, let's say if you make a post like that, right?
Okay.
People can be like, oh, this guy's going hiking here this weekend, and they could join from that post.
Okay. So that would
And
be really good,
and
right?
it'd be, so it'd be a location based. So pretty much so let's say if you're in Washington State, right, it will
Mhm.
show you all the posts in Washington State eventually. Right now, we're just having it show everyone's post because, we're trying to build that user base. But
Yep.
eventually, you come to Washington State, it will show you all the posts in Washington State. And then let's say if you make a post about, let's say, I want to go to Deception Pass, right?
Mhm.
Then people that are, let's say, looking for Deception Pass can type in just Deception out a search feature to Deception, and then it'll pop up all the posts for that area, and then people can join in on it and make, go on that trip that they want to too. So
Cool.
that's another feature we're adding
It's
to the
kind of
post
like
section.
what was it? Instagram when they kicked off, everybody was doing Instagram meetups where
Mm,
they would go and do photo things at a lake or someplace, and they had these little meetups randomly. So that kind of gives you the option to maybe do some meetup kind of
mhm.
pieces to get started until there's a big enough audience, right?
Yep. And I
What
really
what? Go ahead.
And I really think that too, like with this, I think it'll also like create a whole, like, if people want to know about trails and all that too, like what's the condition of this trail? People are always looking at that too. So that may be a good, feature too, is like people will see like, hey, this trail's bad today. Don't go on that trail. It'll
Trail
be kind
updates,
of like
yeah.
updates. Yeah.
Yeah, the mountain biking community, that's kind of their gig, right? It's like,
Mhm.
hey, either snow still in the trail early in the year, or is it too muddy? You got to be
Yeah.
able to get announcements out like that. There's so many different places people can go to bring it all in one central location. Would be kind of cool, right? So
Mhm.
to kind of find your community. So tell me a little bit more about you. You're obviously an entrepreneur. You like going skiing. You like getting outdoors. Do you like traveling?
Oh, I love traveling, man.
Yeah.
Whenever I can, I love to travel.
So you've traveled down to Whitney and you've done some hiking. Where's like your favorite place you ever gone outdoors and gone traveling to?
Ooh, that's a hard one. I do gotta say, when I was in Boy Scouts, we did this thing called Philmont, and it's in New Mexico.
New Mexico, yeah. It looks like a
Yeah,
rainforest down there. It's kind of weird.
yeah, I forget what the wilderness was called, but it was down there kind of towards, I would say south of the southern Colorado
Yep,
Rockies.
yep.
But it
Small
was,
world. I have a
yeah,
very good friend. His son's an Eagle Scout now, and but Philmont is his favorite thing he's ever done. Also, so he's told
yeah.
me plenty of that trip.
It's like one of those things I just remember. Like, there's this thing called the Tooth of Time, and it's this like big, like huge rock that kind of looks like mini Yosemite, is what I would call
Oh,
it.
okay.
And you can walk behind it, walk on top of it, and you just get a view of like New Mexico and the desert floor and all that, and it's just
Right.
beautiful. I just remember that site to this day, like the
That's
trees, see
like
the trees down
their
below.
version of Half Dome or something, right? So
Yeah,
that's cool. I remember he always tells me that you think of New Mexico, you think of dry and arid. He goes, it's almost like a rainforest. So at least when he went down there, it was such a jungle, lush environment. Going through New Mexico is kind of interesting. That's really cool. So you were a Boy Scout and you like getting outdoors and doing quite a bit then.
yep.
So on your app right now, I think I know I saw hiking and backpacking. I saw canoeing and kayaking, skiing's obviously on there. What
Mhm.
would be some really random thing that's on there for an activity that I'm missing here? What are some things that people can
Uh,
sort through?
just tourism in general or travel.
Travel?
I was thinking too, people just want to meet up on the, in a city and go explore the city they've never seen before. It'd be a good thing for that too. People can meet each other in the city and, hey, I don't know where to go here. So it could be used for that purpose, or pickleball, or running, or going for a walk with your dogs. It could just be, it's pretty generic. It could be used for anything really. It could be used for any group of people that want to, take a liking to the app.
So
And
it really is about connection.
it
It's
really
just
is.
finding whatever you're doing in life and finding a connection point.
Yeah.
Can people add activities on the menu, or how do they, if they don't see their activity on there?
Yeah.
How,
So the activity thing right now, right? It's so when you choose your activities at the beginning, it's a whole algorithm pretty much. So you choose those, and that's how it bases you, like it shows and shows you
okay.
pretty much. So it pretty much bases who sees you and who you can see. When you go through the searches and all that. But eventually, I was thinking, maybe do add the activities on the front cover just so people can see, yeah, when they go through someone's profile, that what they're into.
Mhm.
Kind of a cool thing to add to eventually down the road.
Very good. What future plans after the beta? Like, how long do you want beta to last? I mean, what's the future plans for your launch?
I'm hoping that beta lasts till no further than end of the year. Like
Okay.
I feel like right now it's just kind of getting like what's going to work for marketing, what isn't, and what
Mhm.
users are coming in here. It's kind of just a test phase right now. It's just kind of seeing what works and what doesn't.
Okay.
And the plan right now is to do a huge influencer marketing campaign somewhere around, September-ish, with a lot of travel influencers, go out personally to outdoor sites and, hand out free stuff to people, just, spread the awareness community, put events
Mhm.
together through OutdoorPal, and, people in Washington, and have people, beer, music, live events, stuff like that. Just have people come together. That's the whole point. I want to create a whole feeling where people are just gathering up and enjoying the outdoors, because that's what the app's all about, is just meeting new people
Yep.
and connections
Yep.
and creating that whole vibe of the platform.
I like the idea of getting some social influencers out there and people in the industry that'll
Yeah.
kind of buy in and kind of help you launch some of those meetups and stuff and get the profiles built
Yes.
up. That's really good, right? So
Mhm.
very
And
cool. A family man, or single, or
no, I have a girlfriend. She's in
yeah.
New Hampshire right now.
Oh, in New Hampshire. You said something about Portsmouth earlier when we were
Yeah.
offline. I have a son that lives just next to Portsmouth. I was there in Portsmouth at the coldest day in American history. I was
Oh,
there
dang.
2 years ago.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
the
that's
white was
cool.
it the White Mountain that's at just north there? They had the coldest record
Yeah.
temperature. Yeah, it was not very much fun to be close to the water on that cold day, but we tried.
That's kind of crazy, because I literally just left right before that, like 2 weeks before that happened.
Oh, that's terrific. Small world,
Yeah.
man. My
Yeah, it is
son
small.
lives not too far from there. So that's one of their favorite little towns to go out to. But we weren't going to fly all the way over there and stay indoors, so we just bundled up. We went to the ice castles north of there and drove up the coastline to Maine and saw the lighthouses and stuff. So that's a cool area. So very
Yeah.
good. Washington's on fire this year.
Yeah, I know, it's pretty crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, so outdoor meetups in the mountains are a little bit harder right in Washington this year.
Yeah, a lot of the mountain passes, they have road closures and all that, so it's kind of hard to, get to where you want to get to with, some of these closures going on, but yeah.
Absolutely. Any let's see, you've been building it for a little while. Any concerns, that you guys are running into any market challenges that are kind of interesting that the readers might like to know about? Things like Yosemite National Park need reservations now, so you can't just go meet up in Yosemite unless they both have reservations, right?
Yeah. Yes, I think the challenges are really just getting people to trust the platform. Like, we don't have the user base yet, so obviously people are like, "Oh, what's this new platform?" So just
Yeah.
getting people to, like, trust it, and like, "Hey, this is a cool new thing." That's the biggest thing, is just like getting that user base and that trust.
Well, that's a good question then. So,
Yeah.
what do do the people secure back in our information when we load it up? Just like any social profile, it's out there, but you have you guys done the steps on the back end to make sure everything's secure and
Oh,
stuff? Yeah.
yeah, no, it's even like all the information too is backed up too. So like we have a lot of firewalls around the database server in general. So if anyone try to get through that, even so, we could be notified if someone is even trying, and so we'd be able
Yeah.
to stop it. But you know, data breaches are a huge concern to people, and that's very understandable because a lot of platforms out there have been data breached before, and
Yeah.
we take that very seriously in our precautions on making it safe for users' data so people can't get into their access
Great.
to that.
Great.
Yeah.
So, and then the app stores, they have their own vetting process also. You're on the
Yes.
Apple Store and Google Play for phones and I'm assuming desktop too, but it's mostly for mobile, correct?
Yes, for
Right.
mobile.
For mobile, okay.
Yeah.
So they just go and search OutdoorPal. Is that the
Yeah, that's correct. Yep.
okay. OutdoorPal. That's you go download it, give it a try. Jarrod, you believe it? You told me you're a little nervous about it. We're already coming up on 30 minutes, right?
Oh,
And so
I didn't even realize that.
yeah, that quick, right?
That's crazy.
So I always end the show with 3 questions that are identical to everybody, really simple outdoor passion questions, right? But before we get to that, I want to make sure I give you last word. Maybe tell people again how to get the app, anything extra you want to just make a push out to our readers and let them know they can trust your guys' plans and where you're going.
I would say this is my first time ever doing this.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would say like just trusting the fact that I'm willing to go down with the app. So no matter what happens, I'm ride or die with the platform.
Okay.
So if the app was to go down, I'm gonna go down with it. So
all right, very good.
I'm all in it. I'm all in on it. So
okay, very good.
Yeah.
Well, here's my 3 questions. They're barn burners, okay?
Yeah.
All right, let's assume that right behind your chair there, your bag is packed for the weekend, okay? And you're going to go anywhere, but you have to come to California Sierra, okay? So I'm gonna pin down, okay? So you have to come to the California Sierra. Maybe you're going skiing, right? Where you're going and why?
Ooh, I'd say Tahoe because I've never been.
Lake Tahoe is a great choice, man.
Yeah.
All right, I'll open it up to you. If you're going to go anywhere else, where are you going?
Definitely Bend, Oregon. I love it down there. It's beautiful.
I grew up in Bend, Oregon. We have a lot of connections here, my
Yeah.
friend.
Small world. That's crazy.
Yeah, a small world. And Bend, Oregon's good here too. But you definitely got to come down and try Lake Tahoe skiing. Palisades 75th anniversary this year. We got Heavenly's got all the toys and stuff. So great time to go down skiing. So all right. So say you go on, you're out on ski slopes all day. And I'm a big foodie. I get hungry after hiking all day. What's your go-to meal after a big day of skiing?
Ooh, well, it's a hard one. I'm gonna have to say I like a good bowl of chili.
Chili, very good. Where's the
chili.
best chili to find in the state of Washington? Since we know you're a Crystal Basin guy up there.
I'm pretty biased, but I'd say my dad cooks some pretty good chili.
Oh, you tailgate chili?
Yeah,
some tailgate chili going. I like it.
Yeah.
Bring his own chili outdoors. That's very good. All right, and then finally, favorite piece of gear, like gear you never leave home without. You always have this gear with you, whether you're skiing or backpacking or just outdoors doing whatever. What's your gear item that's your favorite?
I would say my Garmin. I love my Garmin.
Wait, what about the Garmin that tracks you about that you're my first Garmin user?
Well, I feel like it's just like it's one of those things that it's kind of like a safety net. Like if something were to happen to me when I'm alone, have that backup safety that would save me. Just that's one of those things I always try to carry on me.
I like that. There's nothing wrong with that. Garmin's not sponsoring this podcast. Just let you know too. I'm always interested in gear. Like I'm a map guy, right? So people think it's weird, but I carry a paper map of almost every wilderness and trailhead place I go. I just like a paper map. So I've always found with a map in my car or my bag. So that's really cool. Hey, Jarrod, we wish you the best of luck. It's OutdoorPal. I actually look at this. I think I actually did. I'm playing with this today. Let me see if I get my banner here. You can let's see if I get add the banner. Oh, I messed it up. Yeah, I tried to add the banner. Actually, no, there it goes. Download OutdoorPal app. I didn't put the DOM on your community. So
Sweet.
It's still on the bottom. Look them up on Apple Store or the Google Play Store on your phone. Come find me. I have a profile on there. Sierra Rec is on there. Come find me. If you're in the Tahoe Basin stuff, invite me to a trip. We'd love to go join you guys up on that. We can tell some stories about Jarrod and his app. If you're in Washington, look up Jarrod. He's up there ready to go. Ski season's right around the corner, Jarrod. The
Yep.
skis are getting waxed, right? It snowed down here already. Is snow up there?
Oh no, it has not snowed up here yet.
We had snow in the Sierra last week. Okay,
What?
first August snow I've seen here since I've lived here in 17 years. I think maybe it's the second one. But as people are getting geeked out, the winter's going to be big and wet on the West Coast. So
I'm ready for it.
I'm ready for it. Very
man.
good. We wish you the best with your app. Stay in touch. Keep our guests informed of what's going on. We'll get this pumped out to you, and then we wish you guys the best of luck getting started.
Thank you so much, Charlie, for having me on the show.
Hey, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen, wherever you guys are at, we hope the Sierra is in your future this weekend. It's a great weekend or great month to be in the Sierra. September, such great weather to hike. We got community events and events in Reno, Tahoe going off this weekend. So look it up on SierraRecMagazine.com. And as always, hope you join us next week, Sierra Rec Now. Actually, next week, well, I'll be back next week. I have stories to tell you Yosemite because I'm leaving on my dream Yosemite backpacking trip this week. So we'll share more then. Have a great week, guys. We'll hope to see you soon.